People love a good mystery. Some binge true crime documentaries. Others get lost in late-night YouTube rabbit holes. And then there are the ones who search the dark corners of the web for something strange, almost forbidden, to feed their quest to know. Regardless, we continue to seek the answers to one mystery after another. Some mysteries are pretty fascinating, others are creepy. And then there are the terrifying ones that could be solved if only those who know the what, why, and how would finally step out of the shadows and speak. Here are 15 of those. Let's start off with number 15, the Southern Pacific Axman. Between 1911 and 1912, a crazy killer moved along the Southern Pacific Railroad, targeting entire mixed-race families in Louisiana and Texas. With an axe as his weapon, he left behind a staggering 49 victims, men, women, and children, all murdered in their sleep. The killings followed a chilling pattern. The homes were near railroad tracks, and each crime scene carried a gruesome sense of precision. One bizarre clue was a note left at a San Antonio murder scene, quoting Psalms 9:12. "When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble." Human 5. The phrase human 5 referred to the number of victims in that house. Authorities suspected a voodoo-connected cult, specifically members of the Sacrifice Church, but no arrests were ever made. The only possible witness, a lady in San Antonio, was attacked but survived. The Axman vanished like he never existed. Number 14. The Big Stoop Crew. On September 1st, 1944, an 11-man B-24 bomber crew vanished over the South Pacific while on a mission near the Palau archipelago. Known as the Big Stoop Crew, they were part of the larger Allied effort to retake the Philippines from Japanese forces. Despite an exhaustive search, no wreckage or bodies were ever found. Witnesses claimed that 2 crew members parachuted out before the crash, adding to the mystery. Some believe they were captured and executed by the Japanese, while others think they drifted into the vast ocean, never to be seen again. Conspiracy theories range from secret prisoner exchanges to cover-ups, but no evidence has ever surfaced. Unlike most World War II crash sites, the Big Stoop Crew's fate remains completely unknown. Their disappearance is a chilling reminder of how the Pacific could swallow men whole. Number 13. The Murder of Betsy Aardsma. On November 28, 1969, 22-year-old Betsy Aardsma walked into the Penn State University Library to research a paper. Dressed neatly, some believe she may have planned to meet someone. She never walked out alive. Between 4:45 and 5 p.m., she entered a narrow book aisle where an unknown assailant stabbed her once in the heart with a single-edged hunting knife. No one heard a scream. The force of the blow was so strong it pierced her breastbone, killing her within minutes. The murderer pulled the knife out, took it with them, and disappeared. Students found Betsy collapsed, unaware she had been stabbed. The wound was hidden beneath her red dress, making the blood almost invisible. Forensic evidence was minimal, and despite several suspects over the years, the case remains unsolved. More than 5 decades later, the murder of Betsy Aardsma still haunts Penn State as one of its terrifying mysteries. Number 12. The Enfield Poltergeist. In August 1977, Peggy Hodgson called police to her Enfield, England home, reporting loud banging and furniture moving on its own. What followed became one of Britain's most famous hauntings. The disturbances centered around Janet and Margaret, Peggy's daughters. Witnesses, including police officers, journalists, and paranormal investigators, reported drawers opening by themselves, chairs sliding across rooms, and disembodied voices speaking in guttural tones. Skeptics dismissed it as 2 clever girls playing pranks, though Janet later admitted to faking some events. However, she insisted that most of the paranormal activity was real. Photos showed her seemingly levitating in midair, and audio recordings captured eerie voices. The activity stopped in 1979, but the legend never died. Decades later, the Enfield Poltergeist inspired books, documentaries, and even The Conjuring 2. Whether real or an elaborate hoax, the case remains one of the most chilling unsolved hauntings in modern history. Number 11. The ghostly warning of Christine Skubish. On June 29, 1990, a couple driving along Highway 50 in the Sierra Nevada foothills spotted something chilling, a naked woman's body on the side of the road. They didn't stop, but quickly reported it to the police, just like how good people do. But the weird thing is that when officers arrived, there was no lady in sight. Instead, they found tire tracks leading off the road. Below the embankment, a wrecked car lay crushed against a tree. Inside was 24-year-old Christine Skubish, who had been missing for 5 days. She had died on impact, pinned beneath the tree. But in the passenger seat, her 3-year-old son, Nick, was still alive, weak, dehydrated, and suffering from hypothermia. If Christine had died instantly, who or what did the couple see? Nick couldn't have climbed out and returned on his own. Many believe Christine's spirit appeared to lead rescuers to her son, ensuring he survived when all hope seemed lost. What you think? Number 10. The witchcraft murder of Charles Walton. On February 14, 1945, 74-year-old Charles Walton was found brutally murdered on Meon Hill in Warwickshire, England. His body was pinned to the ground with a pitchfork through his neck, and his chest had been slashed with a trouncing hook. An inverted cross had been carved into his skin. Walton was a quiet farm worker, but rumors swirled. Locals claimed he could tame wild dogs and birds ate from his hands. Some believed he practiced witchcraft. Meon Hill itself had a dark reputation. Stories of phantom hounds and devil sightings had circulated for centuries. Police suspected ritualistic murder, perhaps by someone who believed Walton had cursed them. His murder mirrored Old English folklore, where witches were nailed to the ground to break their spells. Adding to the mystery, an old book mentioned Charles Walton, who died after seeing a ghost 60 years earlier. Could they have been the same man? His murder remains unsolved to this day. Number 9. The basement of Celle Neues Rathaus. Few mysteries blend Nazi history and the occult as chillingly as the story of Celle Neues Rathaus, a town hall in Lower Saxony. Originally built in the mid-19th century, the structure was later taken over by the SS during World War II. Its underground levels, once used as military bunkers, were flooded and sealed by retreating Nazis before the Americans arrived in April 1945. Rumors spread of hidden treasure or secret experiments, prompting a dive team to explore the flooded tunnels. 3 divers entered. Only one returned, raving and incoherent, claiming he had seen corpses bound to chairs, mutilated bodies with animal parts sewn to them, and pentagrams carved into the walls. He also insisted he was chased by a dark shadow. Rather than investigate further, the Americans sealed the tunnels, later handing the building to the British. Even today, strange occurrences plague the town hall, leaving many to wonder what truly lies beneath. Number 8. The Hoxton Horror. Victorian London is infamous for Jack the Ripper, but another grisly case is the Hoxton Horror, which remains unsolved. On July 10, 1872, Sarah and Christiana Squires, a mother and daughter, were found bludgeoned to death inside their small stationery shop. The store was ransacked, suggesting a robbery gone wrong. The biggest mystery was the timeline of the murders. A broken clock inside the shop had stopped at 12 p.m., possibly during the struggle. However, multiple witnesses swore they had seen the victims alive between 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. One even insisted Sarah stood at the doorway at 12:30 p.m., raising the chilling question, was it really her, or had they seen the killer? Authorities suspected Sarah's son, but he was confined to an asylum at the time. With no other suspects, the Hoxton Horror joined London's long list of brutal, unsolved Victorian murders, a case now lost to time. Number 7. The Rendlesham Forest Incident. Dubbed Britain's Roswell, the Rendlesham Forest Incident remains one of the most compelling UFO encounters in history. Between December 26 to 28, 1980, U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk reported strange lights moving through the forest, metallic crafts, and physical traces left behind. One morning, investigators discovered a cleared glade, burned tree marks, and 3 triangular ground indentations, as if something had landed. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt later wrote a detailed memo describing his first-hand experience, including a beam of light shooting down near their base. Skeptics blame the Orfordness Lighthouse, meteor showers, or military exercises, but witnesses insist something unexplained happened. Unlike most UFO cases, this one had dozens of trained military eyewitnesses, government documents, and recorded testimonies. Whether extraterrestrial or not, the Rendlesham Forest incident remains the most well-documented UFO encounter in British history, and no explanation fully accounts for all the bizarre details. What's your option? Well, let us know. Number 6. Who put Bella in the Witch Elm? On April 18, 1943, 4 boys searching for bird nests in Hagley Wood, Worcestershire, stumbled upon a human skull inside a hollow witch elm. When police arrived, they uncovered the skeleton of a woman believed to be in her mid-30s with distinct protruding teeth. Well, we don't know, but that's what they found. She had been murdered at least 18 months earlier. Despite her unusual features, no one came forward to identify her. Theories ranged from prostitution or espionage to witchcraft rituals. But the case took an eerie turn when graffiti appeared across Birmingham, reading, "Who put Bella in the Witch Elm?" Was it a taunt from the killer or a clue? Police chased leads, but no answers ever emerged. The graffiti has continued to appear sporadically over the decades, a ghostly reminder of one of England's strangest wartime mysteries. Whoever Bella was and why she died remains one of history's most haunting questions. Number 5. The Midwest College Disappearances. In October and November 2002, 4 people vanished across the Midwest under eerily similar circumstances. Erica Dahlquist, Chris Jenkins, Michael Knoll, and Josh Guimond all went missing after nights of drinking. Months later, Dahlquist's body was found, and a man named William Myers was convicted of her murder. But the cases of the 3 men remain murky. Jenkins' body was discovered frozen in the Mississippi River, Knowles in a lake, and Guimond was never found. Authorities hesitated to link the cases, suggesting alcohol-related accidents, but the pattern was unsettling. Young men, same age range, similar builds, vanishing from the same region in just 10 days. Could it be coincidence, or was something more sinister at play? While some deaths remain unsolved homicides, Guimond's disappearance remains a total mystery. No body, no answers. The truth behind the Midwest College disappearances is still unknown. Number 4. The Bad Santa of Berlin. During the 2011 Christmas season, Berliners enjoying festive markets were unknowingly drinking poison. A mysterious man, later dubbed Bad Santa, was handing out free shots of schnapps and mulled wine, except his drinks were laced with GHB, also known as liquid ecstasy. At least 13 victims fell ill, some requiring hospitalization, while one suffered partial memory loss. Though none died, panic spread as authorities warned not to accept drinks from strangers. Witnesses recalled the poisoner dressed as Santa Claus, claiming he was celebrating the birth of his child. Despite multiple eyewitness descriptions and a composite sketch, Bad Santa was never caught. His motives remain unclear. Was it a twisted prank, an experiment, or something more sinister? Whatever the reason, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind one of Berlin's most bizarre and unresolved criminal mysteries. Number 3. The mysterious Vatican disappearance. On June 22, 1983, 15-year-old Emanuela Orlandi vanished in Rome. The daughter of a Vatican employee, she had attended her music lesson as usual. Before class, a mysterious man offered her a job with Avon Cosmetics. After her lesson, she was seen getting into a BMW. She was never seen again. Over the years, countless theories have emerged. Some claim she was kidnapped by a Bulgarian neo-fascist group. Others believe she was trafficked or even involved in a plot against Pope John Paul II. In 2017, an Italian journalist claimed he had stolen a Vatican document suggesting the church arranged her disappearance, but the Vatican dismissed it as fake news. In 2019, an anonymous tip led to the exhumation of two princesses' tombs, believed to contain Emanuela's remains. Instead, they were empty, deepening the mystery. Decades later, the Vatican's missing girl remains one of Italy's most haunting cases. Number 2. The Handless Monk. In 2018, archaeologists excavating Chapelle Dom Hugh, a tiny islet off Guernsey's coast, made a chilling discovery: a skeleton with no hands, buried alone. The remains, believed to be from the 17th century, were found near an earlier dolphin burial, adding to the mystery. At first, experts suspected the man was a medieval monk, possibly a leper whose hands were amputated. However, forensic analysis suggested otherwise. His clothing indicated a later burial, long after monks had left the island. Another theory suggests he was a sailor lost at sea, his body dumped overboard and later washed ashore. But why was he buried without his hands? Was it punishment? A ritual? An accident? With more questions than answers, the handless skeleton of Chapelle Dom Hugh remains one of Guernsey's most perplexing archaeological discoveries. Number 1. The mysterious death of Dan Casolaro. In August 1991, journalist Daniel Casolaro was found dead in a West Virginia motel room, his wrists slashed a dozen times. Police ruled it a suicide, but his family refused to believe it. Casolaro had a deep fear of blood and had been receiving death threats in the weeks before his death. He had been working on an explosive conspiracy story, The Octopus, which linked the U.S. government to illegal surveillance, arms deals, and even the Iran hostage crisis. His main source, Michael Riconosciuto, claimed the government had modified tracking software to spy on foreign buyers. Casolaro believed he was onto something huge, too huge. When his body was found, all of his research was missing. His notes, his drafts, gone. Officially, his death remains a suicide, but many suspect he was silenced before he could expose something dangerous. His story and his investigation vanished with him. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.